Hey there, everyone, and welcome to GamePoints episode 170. Your weekly get-together, we talk about recent gaming news. I am, of course, your host, Stephen Brown, and joining me today is...
I'm David.
Tonight, David, we have some Jedi Fallen Order news that we need to get into. We also are going to talk about the never-ending Sekiro difficulty conversation that pops up. Sony is finally going to let us change our names, and we might have, and I stress the word might, some Death Stranding news on the way, as well as some other information that I'm kind of excited for as we get into it. How have you been?
I've been pretty good. I've been playing a bunch of Baba Is You on Switch, and that game's phenomenal. I recommend it.
Fair enough. So,
if you're looking to waste time, it's a puzzle game. It's pretty simple.
Okay.
But it like kind of ramps up in difficulty. It's based on phrases, basically.
Okay.
So the beginning of the game is Baba Is You. Like rock is push, which means you can push rocks, and flag is win, which means touch the flag and you win. And so you're like, oh, I'm going to walk over here, I'm going to push this rock out of the way, and then I'm going to go touch the flag, then I win. But you can also interact with all the words so that you can make it say, rock is win, and run into the rock, or flag is push, or rock is you, and literally just change which character, like who you're playing as. And it gets really clever really fast, so I'm actually really enjoying it.
I have no idea what this game is exactly, so I couldn't tell you for certain.
Take a look. You might actually really dig it.
All right, I'll have to definitely take a look at it. Anyways, enough of the pleasantries. Let's get right into what the show is and all that. Sorry, if I seem distracted, it's because I realized I didn't do something at the beginning. I had to change our episode number. So I was at the same time typing in like information into the machine while trying to talk to you, while trying to look at chat. Salty Frank, thanks for showing up, by the way. And my brain was spent at least 5 different ways. So for the uninformed, this is, of course, GamePoints, a little podcast. We get together to talk about things. I said that already. But the point I want to mention is that this is also audience interactive. So if you're watching us at home here at Twitch TV/GamePoints Live, or watching us on YouTube later, feel free to comment, chat, speak away. If live, of course, you can interact with us real time like some people in chat do. Otherwise, just enjoy your time here. Be civil about it either way. So let's go ahead and get into the first big story of the week. Dr. Hugo, by the way, thank you for showing up. And that is Star Wars Celebration happened over the past weekend. Now, for those who don't know, Star Wars Celebration is this big event celebrating Star Wars, if the name wasn't a dead giveaway. Yeah, I know. Way. Wild, right?
That's crazy.
So it's not just... it's not just Star Wars the movie they talk about, though. They talk about books, TV series, and, of course, video games. And the big video game that's based in the Star Wars universe coming out soon is Respawn's Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. And they've been very scant on details about what this game is until very recently. Now, all the information here comes via GameStop. Link will be provided down below for our YouTube viewers. So, if you haven't seen the teaser for this yet, there is a trailer that's out. It runs about 1.5 minutes. It's all CG. It is in-engine, which I'll get to in a second. But for those of you who don't know...
It's my favorite phrase.
A brief teaser of a broken lightsaber's glowing hilt accompanied by the message, "Don't Stand Out," has been released earlier before the weekend, and Respawn's Vince Zampella announced that Fallen Order will be taking place after Revenge of the Sith, and the game puts players in the boots of a Jedi Padawan that escapes Order 66. This is all stuff that we knew before the weekend hit. This is all that we really knew what was going on. They showed a teaser. They said, hey, it's going to be in that in-between period between Star Wars and Revenge of the Sith, and you're playing a Padawan who missed the purge. Well, the game started getting teased pretty heavily during Celebration. Vince Zampella, who's the head of Respawn, came out and said that there's not going to be any microtransactions or multiplayer. Essentially, he said this game will have everything that will not have anything that EA loves.
Yeah. Somehow EA is not going to be involved in this EA published game.
Yeah.
Which we'll see.
Yeah. My stance on that is very simple. Hold your breath. Don't hold your breath.
Yeah, we'll see.
See this with your own eyes. I don't trust...
He recently is the guy that came out and said, oh, by the way, we sneak released the video game, and yes, it has microtransactions, and it's a free-to-play loot or like Battle Royale, sorry. And
yeah.
Keep
in mind, Respawn is such a company that did produce Apex Legends as well and snuck it past all the EA gatekeeping, and it's been doing very well. So I have faith that
also,
Respawn might be telling the truth
are
here.
Fucking amazing. So we got that, right?
Yeah. I have faith that Respawn might be on the up and up here, but I will believe it when I see
want to
it.
believe. I do want to believe.
And then the next day, the first trailer dropped. Now, have you seen this trailer?
Yes, I have.
All right, what'd you think?
I think that all them stormtroopers that were responsible for executing Order 66 did a fuck all piss poor job. How many games and storylines have we now had with the guy that survived, the girl that survived, the other guy that survived? Like,
No,
they
you're
didn't
right.
kill a whole bunch of Jedi. I'm pretty sure.
You're right.
And we keep hearing all these stories of like, oh, this guy got away, that guy got away, which makes sense. You know,
Yeah.
Some of them had to be a little decent. They were supposed to be the best warriors in the damn galaxy, yet most of them got killed just by getting shot in the back once.
Yeah, technically true.
I'm thinking all the ones that died in the movie were actually just all the shitty ones. Sorry,
Salty
Sammy
Frank's demanding that there be pod racing in it. Notice that pod racing has never been brought up in that series since. Neither has midichlorians or anything. Like, anything specifically from the Phantom Menace has been, like, purged from canon of Star Wars, from what I can tell.
Yeah, I mean, they shouldn't have let George Lucas smoke all that crack and then pen that movie.
So the trailer shows a younger guy his name is Cal Kestis, or it's a Star Wars name, so it doesn't make any fucking sense. He's played by Cameron Monaghan, who is the guy that played the Joker in the Gotham series, to give you an idea of what he looks like. And he is clearly hiding out.
He's also in Shameless.
Yeah. He is currently hiding out on some planet somewhere, working like essentially as an intergalactic dock worker, it looks like, just living a normal life. And the trailer shows him using his force powers to save what looks like a buddy, and then of course all hell breaks loose at that point because the Jedi are evil, blah blah blah, gotta kill them all, and he goes on the run. Interesting premise.
Yeah, that's cool. I can get behind that. That's fine.
I'm reminded of a bunch of World War II stories where it's like the Jewish guy who hides what he is and just works in plain sight, and then eventually someone discovers he's Jewish and insert Nazis chasing him from here. It's a relatable story because we've had instances of that actually happening in history. So I'm very cool with that. It did say that all the game assets were rendered in-engine for the trailer, but using the phrase in-engine means fuck all.
It's the best.
Because in-engine just means they made a pretty movie using the assets of whatever engine they're using. I believe they said it was Unreal, by the way. I want to say
congratulations, we rendered this thing in this software that renders things.
Yeah,
good job, guys.
I want to say it is Unreal, and they went out of their way to state that it was not Frostbite. For some reason, I'm remembering
actually
that.
the biggest deal, I think, of this game, because that means it might actually come out and work.
Yeah.
And be a solid third-person action game. And ideally, it's just going to be Jedi Outcast 2, but with a different name.
Or a really, really good Force Unleashed. I thought Force Unleashed was an awesome idea. That just was poorly executed. But I know what you're saying. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, dude.
And it's supposed to be coming out later this year, November 15th, for PS4, Xbox One, and PC. So, what do you think?
I think that, in my opinion, Respawn's track record thus far is pretty damn stellar.
I agree.
And of all of the waiting on Star Wars franchises that EA was supposedly working on, I know this is the only one that didn't get canceled, so this is kind of a weird thing to say, but this is the one I'm most excited for, but it always kind of was. I wanted to see what Respawn would do with the license. I've been curious, so
it's single player only. No
cautiously
microtransactions.
Optimistic. Yeah, it's a
no
full story
multiplayer.
game, and guess what? God of War was like the best damn game last year.
How long do you think it's going to be?
8 hours.
Are you okay? 8 hours?
Like old school. Let's throw back to like a first-person shooter story campaign length.
My gut, and I hope I'm wrong, but my gut, knowing the because we have to remember, back at last E3, it was clear that they were not ready to talk about this game at all. They kind of just threw Vince Appella up there from the audience to like, hey, it's called Fallen Order, and it's coming next year, and I have nothing to show you, not even concept art. The fact that they didn't have anything to show for that game at E3 last year makes me think that this game did not take much to... I don't want to say it didn't take much to develop it, because it makes it sound like I'm taking away from how hard it is to make a game. But when I hear things like that, I do not see this game being any longer than 4 hours.
Anthem was shit out on a horrible engine in 18 months, more or
Yep.
less.
Yep, you're right. You're absolutely right. And
This
Anthem is like a 20+ hour game if you want to go to the end.
Yeah, and I don't know. I feel like the team at Respawn has been making this specific. I'm thinking of the campaigns of the first two Titanfall games.
See, my brain goes to Modern Warfare as well, because while Respawn isn't Infinity Ward, it might as well be. So my brain goes to like how long some of those campaigns were. So yeah, I can see 8 to 12 hours being a solid length for a campaign. But man, I just can't shake this feeling it's only going to be 4 hours long. I can't. I cannot shake this feeling that we're going to get Order 1886 here.
That's rough.
Maybe it's because it's Order 66 and my brain goes back to that for some reason, like I have some association with it.
Maybe they'll make full-size DLCs. Or maybe it'll be amazing and he just didn't want to talk about it last year. Who knows?
No microtransactions, but there are macrotransactions for damn sure.
It's got to be.
It's not 99 cents for a costume. It's $5 for a costume.
Yeah, but it gives you a whole new set of skills and unlocks a new skill tree.
So, yes, we have some more details for it. This game is very soon. We've only seen the teaser trailer, the in-engines teaser trailer, which means fuck all. Remember, we have to stop using that term in-engine, because that means nothing. That means you made a movie using the same engine you built the game with. I want to say, don't trust anything unless it says actual gameplay, and even then, take that with a grain of salt when you see it out there, guys. Anyways, let us know what you guys think about Jedi Fallen Order down in the comments below, either here at Twitch TV or down in the YouTube section below. Let us know if you're looking forward to it, if you think it's good or it's not. Of note, apparently Amy Hennig has dropped some details about her canceled Star Wars project in light of this news coming out over the weekend. I haven't had a chance to take a look at them, but it sounds interesting. And we also have some details about a canceled Knights of the Old Republic 3 out there, too. What Obsidian was thinking of doing that. Everyone's kind of going through and giving their own stories about what their dream Star Wars game was going to be. Mura, welcome to the chat, by the way. The first time I think I've seen you in here, says, only trust YouTube gameplay. I absolutely understand that sentiment, and I don't 100% agree with it, but I do think that is one of the absolute surefire ways to see how a game functions, is either YouTube gameplay or gameplay here on Twitch. Because you see that in the wild, even review copy. For example, Metal Gear Solid 5, back when they did their review boot camp, they flew people who were reviewing the game down to Konami, down to a place where they put them on specialized hardware under controlled environments. So
they
yes,
knew exactly how the game would perform.
Exactly.
And all that good stuff.
So you just have to watch out for that stuff. So yeah, trust but verify, as Ronald Reagan once said. David,
we'll just have to wait and see.
We're going to do a hard switch to a new topic here. For those of you who are not part of the greater internet war that's been going on for the past 2 weeks.
Oh yeah, we're here to keep talking about it.
There is a game that came out. There's a game that came out recently called Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice, and it has ignited a conversation about difficulty and accessibility in games.
I don't really know that it's really been a conversation. It's been raging back and forth for a long time, and to me, it's an interesting topic. And we'll see exactly where you fall on this, because I understand a little bit of both sides of the argument. And we talked about this last week. I'm of the opinion that people that play games are gamers, and I don't really care what kind of game you play. I'm down for it. That's fine. You enjoy yourself. Gaming's for everybody, and I think that in a lot of ways, this industry, at least when I was a kid, grew out of like escapism, more or less. This is something that we can do to, de-stress or just get away from the real world, just have fun. This is a hobby. This is what I do in my spare time. Some people knit, some people throw baseball. I play video games.
Right.
And there's this whole, I don't even know if you want to call it a discussion. It's more like an argument that's been raging back and forth. And Sekiro, yes, is definitely the catalyst of this, because you got a bunch of articles like Sekiro needs an easy mode, or no game's ever been ruined by an easy mode. And then Eric Kane's Polygon art, or Forbes art. Wait, Eric Kane's Forbes, right? basically said,
of Forbes.
no, fuck you. This doesn't need an easy mode. This is the game it's supposed to be, and more or less, get good. That's what this game's about. And I understand those topics. But this week, I believe on Friday, Steven Spahn, who is the COO of Abled Gamers, a company that works to put more accessibility features into video games, released an article on Digital Trends called "Forget Easy Mode. Sekiro Shadows Die Twice needs an equal mode." And I thought his arguments in here were pretty interesting, mainly because he's talking about ways to make games more accessible for peoples with disabilities, and not just difficulty sliders, hard, medium, easy, that kind of thing. While that can be part of accessibility, he's talking more of the greater argument that, hey, everybody kind of should be able to play these games. And I see where he's coming from. He's heard a ton of counter arguments, and I've been following this guy on Twitter for a long time because I think what he does is really cool. And he would just get constantly flamed on Twitter, like, no, fuck you, you're wrong, games are art, get good, it's about the challenge. Other disabled people beat it, so why are you even bitching? Obviously, if one disabled person can do it, they can all do it, which is just completely ridiculous, but that's a whole other thing. Like adding accessibility will take away from developing content. Accessibility always ruin the culture. And then there's the great argument of some people who aren't disabled might use the disabled features to make the game easy and miss out. But a lot of the counter arguments, to me, and you can rebuttal, fail to address how it actually ruins your experience of the game if accessibility options are added for other people. And there's a lot of games that have them, and I think one of the best examples is Celeste, a game that's ridiculously difficult but has all kinds of awesome accessibility stuff in it, where you can slow down time and do all this other stuff to actually get through the game so that everyone can see it. And that's really where he's coming from, man.
Right, and I get that point of view, I do. My stance on this has been, and always will be, I am going to let the developer choose to put whatever they want the fuck into their game. If they want to do something like Celeste, awesome. Go for it. More power to them. If they want to do something like a Soulsborne game and make it to where there's none of that difficulty slider or anything in there, awesome. More power to them. Go for it. Now, as Steven Spoon, I think his last name is Spoon. Forgive me if I'm mispronouncing that.
It's I think it's Spone.
Spawn.
Or Spawn. It's Spohn.
Okay. I'm just not positive how to pronounce it. And I've heard his name multiple times, but it's not sticking in my head. Mm. He goes to a bunch of counter arguments in here, and while I get where he comes from some of these places, I don't think he does a good job at these counter arguments. For example, first he argues games that are art. Okay, cool. But then he uses like specific, his example is Cory Barlog saying, hey, adding accessibility never compromise my artistic vision. Cool. If you're a developer that thinks that, more power to you. There are developers who think otherwise, however. So you can't take Cory Barlog as one example and hold him up as this is how all game developers think. But then a few down later go, well, when someone who's disabled says something, not all disabled people have the same disability, and some can do things that you can't. That's a hypocritical statement there. You can't say this one developer speaks for all developers, but this one disabled person doesn't speak for all disabled people. Do you see what I'm saying? Those two counter arguments he's making in this specific article, which you can find down, you'll find it in the links down below on my YouTube page. These two arguments immediately counter each other. Like they wipe each other out. Do you see what a point I'm making?
Yeah.
So that's not good. Now, one argument he does mention is the Get Good crowd. The Get Good crowd, they are a bunch of fuckers. Because people say Get Good is deliberately designed to get your goat. And it's fucked up. We should just ignore them. So the Get Good argument doesn't hold water.
And his argument there is there's some people that legitimately don't have the physical ability to get good. One of the points he brings up is that, yes, it's a game that's meant to have you overcome obstacles, and you fight bosses, you learn things, you keep trying, and some bosses take you 5 tries or 10 tries or 20 tries. But if you're a person and it takes you 1,000 tries and you can't do it, maybe there's something in the design that could help.
Go ahead.
Oh, and I'm just going on to his point of if that option existed, and besides your argument of some developers just don't want to do it, which I get, that makes sense, and I don't know that you're going to be able to force all developers to do it. They're not.
No,
going to make
nor
like
should
a
you.
separate a separate system just to tell companies to do it. And
Yeah,
I'm
just because
totally
Corey
fine with that. I get
Barlog says adding an easy mode didn't harm my artistic vision, doesn't mean that every game developer is going to see it that way. And I'm always going to let a developer build the game they want to build as they envision it. This brings me up to his fourth argument, which is all games aren't meant for everyone. And he essentially goes on. He is countering against the all games aren't meant for everyone argument. He says that's the most heartbreaking of all of the arguments. It's gatekeeping. He cannot be more dead wrong on this one. Gaming, in general, everyone should be able to do. But at the end of the day, with all due respect to Mr. Spohn, not every game is for everyone. I cannot wrap my head around EVE Online. I would love to be able to play EVE Online. I cannot play it. I cannot wrap my head around it. That does not mean I demand EVE Online to change their parameters to fit my playstyle. Now, you might say, well, you can do it, just choose not to. There are people who cannot do that, who feel the same way. So you can't go through and say that every game must be made for everyone without compromising someone. You can't. And I'm trying to be very careful with my words here because I don't want to come off sounding insulting or anything like that. But not everything can be for everyone. That is just the flat-out story for it. Someone is going to get left by the wayside. Period. The fact that we're having this debate means that a specific game cannot be for everyone. Because there are those people who are going to go, well, this now has a difficulty slider into it, so I can't enjoy it anymore, which means that game is no longer for them. They made it accessible for you by taking away what they're going to enjoy out of it.
Wait, so a game having a difficulty slider can make someone not enjoy it?
Yeah, it would make me not enjoy it, but clearly people are saying this would make me enjoy it less. That's why I'm saying you cannot please everyone with everything, and nor
as a general rule,
should
that's
you
just the
have
problem
to.
with humanity.
Yeah, it is a problem with humanity.
I don't see the harm in trying.
Sure, and I don't see the harm trying it either. Which is why I am all for like what Microsoft is doing with that amazing adaptive control. You know how they made that controller that you can like freaking hook it up so people can play with it, like if they're paralyzed from the neck down and they can like use their cheeks and blow into it. That stuff is awesome. At the end of the day, it is beholden to the player if they want to play a game to adjust accordingly to the game, not the developer to be browbeat into making something for everyone.
And I get that argument. I don't think they need to be browbeat. I just like the idea of games being, more accessible for more people. And this goes back to this guy's whole thing is he is the CEO of a company whose entire job is to help developers add accessibility options to their video games. And they've got contracts with Activision and with all these different companies, and all they do is help add these kinds of features.
Right, and I'm all for that. I'm even for if a game wants to pull the Celeste thing and go, here is variable difficulty sliders for every single aspect of the game. And they mentioned how they can make Sekiro easier. They can go, well, do you have more respawns before you get killed? Are you invincible while taking a drink? Stuff like that. If the Souls guys wanted to do that, I'm all for it. Knock yourself out. But I'm also not going to attack them for not putting that in there. And that is the problem that we have, is that both sides of this goddamn argument, once you get to their viciousness on, once you take the loudest voices, it's either everything or nothing, regardless of what fucking side you're on. It's like, guys, fucking chill the fuck out.
And that's the big thing. This has been raging on Twitter for a while, and I just had to stop really looking at social media because it's just so depressing.
Which is why my stand good.
We're all people that like playing video games. We don't got to be so mad at each other. But like you said, in your opinion, the game could be broken for having these features. I honestly cannot see how that's physically possible, that a game could be ruined by having these options.
That is not my opinion.
I don't honestly understand how
some
anyone.
People.
I don't see how anyone can.
I'm not going to
comprehend it. It's
I'm not going to be ruined by having those difficulty sizes. I want to make that very clear. I am totally fine if a game wants to have. If a Soulsborne game came out in the style of Celeste, I would like that and go, okay, cool, whatever. And I would shrug my shoulders and go over.
Yeah, it's
But-
like, oh, there's some options that you go into the options mode, and it's like accessibility, and it's got these checkboxes or sliders or something. Like, oh, that's
Right.
neat. And then I'd, turn on subtitles because I always turn on subtitles, and I would go back.
Yeah,
to
same
playing
here.
video games.
I love subtitles. In fact, I think Assassin's Creed Odyssey is played with like 60% of people playing subtitles as stated in this game right here. I like them on there too. But there are some people who that game would suddenly not be for them. So are you gatekeeping them? I hate that fucking phrase, by the way, gatekeeping. It's not gatekeeping. Everyone has the exact same access to this game. And yes, I mean access as in everyone can attempt to play it. We're not going,
Everyone can buy it and install it.
Yeah, we don't have the ID scanner that goes, oh, you're disabled. You're not physically allowed to play this game. It is up to then the gamer themselves to find a way to make that happen.
Yep. But we don't need to keep dragging this out. This has been going for a while. I just wanted to bring up Steven's article.
Yeah, he makes some amazing points. I recommend everyone take a look at it over at Digital Trends. Links will be, of course,
especially if you've just been sitting on one side of the argument, or even if you're with Steven on this one. Just take a look, man. Just
yeah, I think
please,
he makes. Some...
I don't care which side of the argument you're on. I mean, I just want you to have an open mind and just please stop raging at each other.
Yes, that's the big thing. Is that he makes some good arguments, he makes some bad arguments, but none of these are worth fucking hopping online and saying, "Get good, fucker." It's like,
yeah, and
what
I mean,
does that
even
add?
when he posted a link to the article on his Twitter, it was just filled with people just like attacking him, and I just, man, be excellent to each other. Did none of you people watch Bill and Ted? Fuck. Anyway, I think we're gonna leave it there.
As much as I don't want to do the whole both sides thing, but if you even take like the stance that I have taken, where it's like let developers do things. People say vile shit to me, and like I'm a Nazi, and I'm a fucking being bigoted against this. It's like, no, I just want people to have the artistic ability to do whatever the fuck they want.
I mean, you're kind of an asshole, but not in this specific instance.
Yeah, no, I
in
fully
general.
agree there. Just everyone needs to calm the fuck down. Just calm the fuck down. All right,
And
enough
once
of
you've calmed down, change your PlayStation name.
enough of the serious time stuff. Let's go ahead and get back into some more lighthearted stuff. But yeah, you're right. That's an article that you should all go read. Next topic, however, significantly far more lighthearted, in that Sony has finally seen the light and has bestowed upon us, the plebeians, to change our PSN names finally.
Wow. How long has it been? When did the PSN come out?
It's a while ago. It's 2008, 2009. It's at least 10 years, I want to say, at this point. So, yes. The PlayStation Network was kind of put together of duct tape and wire and whatever else they could find. Yeah, it's bad. And this has led to a whole series of problems as time has gone on, because they can't just take it apart and rebuild it again, because they would lose so much data. So that's why something as simple as letting you change the name on your PlayStation account, like any other service could do, is so fucking complex, and it took them so many years to figure out a way to do it. And it seems like they have finally been able to do it. This is from the PlayStation blog itself. We're excited to announce that online ID changes feature on PSN is officially launched to all PlayStation 4 owners from Thursday of last week. Keep in mind, this was in beta earlier, so people could test it. You'll also be able to change your online ID via web browser, a feature that will be available from Thursday. There are some issues, however, that can occur, because of course there are. It's the fucking PSN. It's one of the most garbage internet infrastructures I've ever seen.
I think you can sum this part up really easily just by referring anybody to the list of video games that support changed PlayStation IDs, because the fact that that list exists on its own means that there's problems.
Yes, some issues can happen with some games, and they're not necessarily obscure-ass games. Now,
they're not necessarily minor. Some of them can be critical, like loss of game progress.
Yes.
Or like...
Now, there's a small list of like 5 games. Most of those are old and defunct now that no one's really playing anymore, that are listed as critical. But there are some ones that are listed as having minor issues, including most of the Soulsborne games. So all the Dark Souls games and Bloodborne are on this list. And issues that can occur if you change your PSN name are as follows. Your previous online ID may remain visible to you and other players in some areas. So you might still see your name as Bong Ripper for 20, even though you changed to something more prestigious, like Bong Puffer for 20.
69.
Yeah. So it might not actually go in take. You might lose your progress within games, including game save data, leaderboard data, and progress toward trophies. So it might eat your saves on certain games. Parts of your game and applications may not function properly both on and offline. So your game could actually fuck up and not work anymore. And you may lose access to content, including paid-for content that you may have acquired for your game, including content like add-ons or virtual currency. So in other words, you might lose your digital purchases if you do this.
Basically, please check the list.
Yeah.
Or just don't change
If
your
you
ID, I
play
guess.
any game on that list, which, yes, does include multiple Dark Souls games and Bloodborne, it might not be worth it for you to change your name because,
the best part
of
is
course,
that newer titles support it better, and the old titles don't. And more than likely, if you need to change your online name, you've had it for a long time, so you have all those old titles that specifically don't work.
Yeah.
Oh, Sony, you guys are doing great. I'm so proud of you.
That's why I'm Capitalist Pig on everything. Xbox, Steam, and PlayStation. I have been lucky to get Capitalist Pig all one word with no letters or numbers afterwards. I have no idea how I pulled that off, but I am on that on all three major platforms.
I've been fighting with one dude consistently, no joke, since the days of LiveJournal.
Is it the same guy?
It's me and this dude throwing down for the last 14 years. Let's go.
Hilarious. As a side note, I'm actually at the point now, whenever I hear some new social media thing open up, I actually just log in on reserve both my name, my company name, and a couple others just to have them. Because I'm not dealing with that anymore. I hate the fact that I'm Capitalist Pig 21 on Twitter. I am so fucking salty about that. It's like the one media platform that it's not just straight Capitalist Pig. I hate it. David.
Well, there you go. The great name war. See, now the problem is all the kids today, all the good names are gone, so everyone has to get super ridiculous. So even if you change your online ID on PlayStation, chances are your new one is taken anyway. So good luck, everybody.
It's a good point.
Because they've also mentioned that you can revert back to your old name, and that your old name does not get released into the wild. It remains yours.
I didn't know that. I didn't read that part. That's interesting. So
yeah,
you could just have someone
change your name online to whatever you want and just squat on an extra name.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, I'm just gonna start looking at all the young famous actors and start stealing all their names.
So you got to watch out with that because that actually can get you sued. Like website squatting, depending on what you're squatting on, can lead to some legal ramifications, and I think that might also
website squatting can be a thing, but as far as I know, there's been no cases of social media name squatting that have been like tried and ruined for the person that had the name originally.
Yeah, I can't think of any.
I'm just gonna go back to the Kaz Hirai CEO account on Twitter.
Yeah, as long as it's clearly established that it's parody, I don't think there's nothing they can do about it.
Yeah.
But I also think that you can petition, like, for example, on Twitter, you can petition someone who might be maliciously using your name. It's super fucking murky. So I cannot, from a We Are GamePoints official standpoint, I cannot recommend you do that, and that the opinions of David Smith do not reflect upon GamePoints, any of its affiliates, myself, or anyone else that might be on this show. Or
that also includes myself, just so you guys know. I'm protected under our brand, even though I'm an asshole.
So I just want to throw that out there. I have to walk the fine line of shit you say coming back to me. So watch out.
Man, if we're ever gonna get in trouble, I guarantee it won't be something I say. Come on.
Yeah, it'll be something I say. I will have I'll have what the young kids call a heated gamer moment.
Yeah.
So, anyways, you could change your name on PSN, but it might not be worth it for you. But if you're willing to take risk and roll the dice, go for it. Which brings us to our next topic. David, why don't you read this one?
I gotta talk about it. I just gotta. This is my favorite kind of news, everybody. Are you ready? Because it's not news at all. Oh, Oh man, Death Stranding, that lovely video game being put together by Hideo Kojima of Metal Gear Solid fame, that's starring Norman Reedus and a bunch of other rad people, might be getting some news at the Tribeca Film Festival. And that is this entire article from TribecaFilm.com. I will read it to you in its entirety so you can know exactly how little news this really is. World-renowned auteur game creator Hideo Kojima, widely considered the father of the stealth genre, has been hard at work on the highly anticipated PlayStation 4 title Death Stranding. Little is known about this mysterious new project, and speculation from fans and industry alike have created a deafening excitement. To discuss his boundary-pushing new game, Hideo will be joined by the star of Death Stranding, Norman Reedus, best known for his star-turning performances in the Boondock Saints and the acclaimed series The Walking Dead. Together, they will discuss pushing the boundaries of the video game medium and talk about how their relationship has established over working on the title together. This exclusive conversation will be moderated by game journalist Jeff Keighley, whose work and creation of the Game Awards has furthered the appreciation and understanding of the video game industry. That is this article in its entirety. Hey, guess what? We're the Tribeca Film Festival. There's a decent chance that both Kojima and Norman Reedus are going to show up and talk about a video game. You're welcome. This is worse than a teaser trailer to me.
It gets even worse than that, by the way. If you're interested in hearing about it, it does happen Thursday, April 25th at 6 p.m.
And
Eastern.
you know I'm going to fucking be there because I am obsessed with anything Kojima touches, and this is the most exciting I've been about a game in a long damn time.
Here's where it gets worse.
But I'm so mad about it.
I'm actually here. There are people saying this actually isn't going to be about Death Stranding at all. From what I understand, this talk is going to focus not on the game that all these people are involved in, but just the relationship between Hideo Kojima and Norman Reedus over 10 years and how games have brought them together closer as friends. So people are going to be showing up and tuning into this thinking they're going to get some Death Stranding shit dropped on them. But instead, what they're going to get is probably a very interesting and entertaining story about Hideo Kojima and Norman Reedus met, worked together, started getting having a relationship with each other on a like a professional and friendly level, and how they can bring in acting and films into games, because it is at the Tribeca fucking Film Festival, and
why would they discuss the video game at the film festival?
You know that Sony would save that for their own like video.
Here's the fun part, is that I could probably tell you more about Death Stranding than you will learn from this interview.
You could probably tell us more about Death Stranding than Kojima himself can.
On a real-life interaction that I, in person, had with the actual flesh and blood Norman Reedus. Because I met him.
Oh, that's right, you did.
At a concert in San Francisco. And I was like, oh, hey, dude, I like your movies. You're pretty good in that show. That's cool. And he's like, oh, thanks, man. I'm like, so can you tell me anything about Death Stranding? I'm going to let you guys in on the secret. I'll tell you exactly what he told me. No. And there you have it. There's your Death Stranding news of the week.
So yes, I mean, I think we're both excited for this game, but do not expect anything to come out about this game at the Tribeca Film Festival. Kojima loves movies. He kind of wants to be a movie director, in my opinion, and not a game director.
Dude, I've seen the ending of Metal Gear Solid 4. He has been a movie director.
This is going to be about them bringing films to game. Nothing about Death Stranding. I know it's being sold up as that way, but I want everyone here watching just to understand we are getting nothing from this. I want you all to know that.
The internet, this is where hype lives.
At best, you'll get like maybe a 15-second teaser of something, but there is no way in hell Sony would allow Death Stranding to be announced and have any kind of reveal at a festival that was not 100% under their control.
Yep.
Just no way.
Yep. And there you go.
Let's see. Let's take a look at chat here. Let's say Norman Fetus, more like Norman Friendship. Okay, that's fair.
No.
Sorry, his full evolution is Norman Reedus to Norman Fetus to Norman Friendius. That's good. I like that. Norman Friendius. Nude Norman Reedus stood with his fetus.
Oh, Jesus. Anyway, here comes the new challenger.
All right, let's go ahead and get into this last bit of a rumor that's going around. That's not really a rumor, but we'll see how it shakes out. Earlier today, yes, today, as in Monday, April 15th.
Look at that, we're topical. Woo!
Yeah, Capcom teased something. And Capcom UK account put up this like little 30 to 40-second movie showing off what looks to be a bunch of fighting stick buttons and images of games reflected off of these buttons. These games being Alien vs. Predator, the arcade game, Pro Gear, which never actually came out to America, I don't think, Gigawing, Darksiders, among others. So clearly, it looks like they're teasing some kind of Capcom arcade collection, which would make sense because they did not all that long ago the Capcom Beat 'em Up collection. At first blush, David, how do you feel about that?
I mean, it could be a beat 'em up connection. It could also be just a standalone fight stick that has a bunch of old school Capcom arcade games built into it.
You've fucking just jumped right to the point without leading up to it, man. Come on, there's an order things are in here.
No, I don't care about speculation. I care about results.
So let's go ahead and get into it. NintendoLife.com is saying that they have an anonymous source saying that this alleged collection won't actually come to consoles at all, but it will be a standalone arcade stick that can support 2 players that will plug into your TV for £200 because it's a British website. What do you think?
I mean, honestly, I'd probably buy the compilation and not the standalone arcade sticks.
That's assuming that they do sell it separately in its own compilation, which I see them doing. This compilation is coming. It has some amazing games on that. The Aliens vs. Predator game alone was amazing. I don't mean the PC one or the ones you found like on consoles. I mean the actual arcade beat 'em up.
Yeah, that's fair.
Pro Gear and Gigawing are both shmups. Think Gradius, Raiden, etc. Darksiders, of course, Darksiders, and there'll be others on here as well. But the big rumor is this fight stick, and it looks if the images are to be believed, it looks like a very high-end fight stick that has it looks like someone took the top of an arcade cabinet and just put a bunch of games into it, if the rumor is to be believed and the images are to be believed.
Which would be easy enough. There's a lot of space in there.
Yeah. Let's see. If they make arcade stick right, it would be perfect do-yourself arcade boxes. Yeah, I absolutely agree. You can plug it into a TV and just build a wooden frame around it and go from there. That would actually be really goddamn cool. I don't know if it's going to be worth $200 though, which is the estimated British price. Probably $149 in America if I had to venture a guess, or it could be $199. It's hard to say with regional pricing. And you would not have an interest in this fighting stick, even if it came with like Super Street Fighter 2 and stuff?
I mean, maybe if they put like rival schools on it.
They might.
Justice. And
anything that's Capcom, if they're charging $200 for this thing, I can imagine that the lineup would be pretty intense.
They would need to have a lot of stuff to get me interested.
Salty Frank in chat brings up a good point. This could be UK exclusive. I don't think it is, but it might be. We don't know for certain. All this is still technically rumor, by the way.
And it is all from Capcom UK.
Yeah.
Who
the
knows?
actual compilation, there's no doubt that that's coming because their teaser straight up showed images of it, and it has like copyright Alien and Predator versus 20th Century Fox. So that's happening. The compilation is happening. The rumor is this arcade stick with the games built into it, and that we'll see what comes out. Although technically the Capcom collection is rumor as well. I don't think it is. We'll know either way tomorrow. I believe it's tomorrow. I think they said more information tomorrow.
I just already own a fight stick. I don't need that thing.
Yeah, I don't need to drop $200 on it either.
Give me the games I want. Let's go.
But while we're talking about wild speculation, by the time you guys see this, if you're not watching us live, you'll likely know what the list is. So let us know what you would like to see added onto this list of games, assuming they announce it tomorrow, down in the comments down below. And I'm kind of interested to see what
we'll more than likely
questions
just
pop
post
up.
it in our Discord.
Yeah, you can also pop into our Discord.
Talk about it next week.
Either way, David, tomorrow is like 3 hours away. I can't handle that.
Dang.
I need to know what I can play between now and tomorrow with stuff that comes out later this week.
Between now and tomorrow is going to be rough because a lot of games come out on Tuesdays, which means they're actually going to come out in about 15 minutes if you're on the
Well,
West
when the
Coast.
hell's tomorrow going to be now?
I don't know, right after this show, more or less.
When will then be now?
Soon.
Thank you.
All right. Anyway, let's talk about some video game releases. How about we start on the PC with One Finger Death Punch 2?
It's a good name. It's a damn good
great
name, by the way.
So, One Finger Death Punch 2, for those unaware, is the sequel to One Finger Death Punch. I know that's shocking. One Finger Death Punch is actually a pretty rad brawler game in which you just use 2 buttons to control your character, while enemies rush you from the left and right sides of the screen, and you just press 1 button to murder them. And it's all about timing and beating stuff up, but it looks like the old school stick fighter, like animations.
Like the old, like, think late 90s, early 2000s stick fight animation.
Yeah. Old school Flash.
I remember them.
All that nonsense. And yeah, you fight stuff, you get weapons, you get special moves, and it's got a ton of modes. It actually looks pretty fun.
It is a surprisingly complex game for being such a simple number of buttons.
Dude, so's Dive Kick. That game's phenomenal. So
Dive Kick is amazing.
World War Z comes out for PS4, Xbox One, and PC. This is obviously launching at the perfect time, based on the 2013 film.
Super relevant.
More importantly, based on the book by Mel Brooks' son. Because, yeah, that's the guy who wrote that, in case you didn't know.
He has a name, David. Max Brooks. Come on.
I know, but I wanted to say it my way. Anyway. It's based in the universe of World War Z, which, if you don't know, is about the world getting ran over with zombies. And the movie had shit tons of them, and so does this video game. This is a co-op, defensive third-person shooter where you fight off hordes and hordes of the undead. We're talking 500 to 1,000 rendered enemies at a time. I think some scenes they said they can get up to 5,000 zombies with their engine, so they will be just piling over each other. They'll build up to get up on higher edges. They'll get caught up in tunnels. They built a whole engine just for the zombie AI, and from what I understand, it's pretty rad. And this seems to have a lot going for it as far as being a unofficial kind of stopgap for No Left 4 Dead's being out right this second.
I have an interest in playing this game. I want to get a hold of it and take a look at it.
It's 4-player co-op that has tons of classes, tons of weapons, and it's built to just be played over and over again.
I just don't know if it's going to run too well. That's my only concern. I get the feeling that this game is going to chug. I'm basing that on nothing other than my gut instinct.
I'm sure your computer can run it, but we'll see if mine can. And more importantly, we'll see if the PS4 or the Xbox One can.
I am super worried that this game might have some problems based on nothing. That's totally unfair, and I fully admit that. But I want to play it.
As long as you feel mad about it, then there we go.
I didn't feel mad about it.
You can also look at Eternity: The Last Unicorn, which comes out on Xbox One. I talked about this game a few weeks ago because it released on PC. This is the classic-style RPG that's based on Norse mythology. If you really want to know more, go back however many episodes ago I talked about it in the first place.
Yeah, it's just the Xbox version of something that came out on the other consoles already.
All right, Path to a Name I Can't Pronounce.
Mnemosyne.
Mnemosyne is an indie adventure puzzle game for PS4. It's 2D-ish. This game is weird because you kind of run towards or away from the screen, and then you run side to side to change what level you are. You're basically running through a mind, and it's a hypnotic adventure in a quest for lost memories.
Okay, that makes sense because Mnemosyne is the Greek goddess of memory and remembering.
Yeah, this game actually looks kind of whack. It's got an interesting 2D kind of black and white style art to it, and looks really trippy. So there you go. My Time at Portia for PS4, Xbox One, and Switch. This is an open-world crafting RPG.
That's a lot of words that immediately turned me off.
I know, but looking at trailers, it reminds me of Harvest Moon or Dark Cloud. So I really want to see what reviews look like for that game.
Okay, I get behind that.
It could be rad because Dark Cloud, that's a good damn video game.
And I won't mock Harvest Moon either. That game is not for me, to go back to our earlier conversation, but I can appreciate it for what it is.
All right, that's fair. How about, can you appreciate Anno 1800?
Oh, yeah.
So the Anno series of games,
all over this.
The Anno series of games have been coming out for a long time. These are some sim builder style games. They're pretty rad. And this one is about leading the Industrial Revolution. Welcome to the dawn of the Industrial Age. Most importantly, when we are talking about Anno 1800, which releases on PC this week, I have to read you the following disclaimer directly from Steam themselves. noticed
I forgot
sales
about
of Anno
this.
1800 will be discontinued on Steam after April 16th due to a publisher decision to make this game exclusive to another PC store. The publisher has assured us that all prior sales of the game on Steam will be fulfilled on Steam, and Steam owners will be able to access the game and any future updates or DLC through Steam. We apologize to Steam customers that were expecting it to be available for sale after the April 16th release date. What that means is they got epicked. They're trying to get that sweet 80%. It's kind of hard to blame them, but it's still shitty to have games listed in one place and then pull the rug out and move it somewhere else. The only bright side, I guess, is that if you really want to play it on Steam, you can. You just need to pre-order it before, 10 minutes from right now.
That'll do a lot of people watching us on YouTube later. So that publisher, by the way, is Ubisoft. Ubisoft is publishing this game. I have played it early, a while back. I played it at a developer get-together they had. I love the Anno games, and this is an excellent addition to it from what I played back 6, 8, 9 months ago, whatever it was. But you make up a good point at the Epic Games Store. I forgot they were doing that. Ubisoft, if it's an Ubisoft game, it is going to be Epic exclusive. They have already set this pattern. Division 2, for example, is on the Epic Store and Uplay's storefront itself. You are not going to see another Ubisoft game on Steam for the foreseeable future. And this proves it. The fact that they're doing this with a smaller niche title like Anno 1800, which should be able to be on everything to get as much exposure as it can. They're putting that on Epic as well. Ubisoft is putting their entire catalog on there, guys. This is just how it's going to shake out. So...
Yep. And the big thing is we just have to wait to see what their profit reports look like in next quarter, and that will be the deciding factor on whether or not half of the other developers jump ship.
Right, exactly. If this game still sells well, everything else is going to go to Epic as well.
Because there'll be no reason to stay. If people flock to Epic, like a lot of people are assuming they're going to, including me, because most people only talk with their mouth, not with their wallets. I'm sorry, but you all are fucking predictable. I feel like Steam's going to actually have to bother to step up and do something like Salty Frank says in chat. They need to give in and start working on the same split. And even if it's not the same, they need to do better.
Yeah, because even if it's the same, Epic is still paying to have exclusives. And Tim Sweeney, the head of Epic, essentially straight up said,
you can
we'll
argue,
fucking buy them.
We have a way bigger player base. So we have all this extra exposure. But, again, Steam has so many fucking games on it, they have to wade through to see it, and things that get on the Epic Store have way less competition.
Right. So it's just know that the Epic Store is not going away. I know people fucking hate it. I know it has problems, but it ain't going away.
Just buy a prepaid credit card from Walmart and buy your damn video games on the internet. Whatever, anyway. Final Fantasy X-2 and 10 HD editions come out on Xbox One and Switch this week. It's those two games again.
I love those games, by the way.
I mean, that's fine. I played Final Fantasy X, and then I was like, dodge lightning. How about you dodge the fuck out of my PlayStation? And that's not true. I played that game to completion, but that's a really funny statement anyway. Tribeca comes out for PS4, Xbox One, and Switch. This is an indie adventure point-and-click game, so old-style grandpa games like stuff you probably play. Set
Thank you.
Sci-fi
I appreciate
mystery
that.
1960s universe. Sorry, dude.
Fuck you. Maniac Mansion was amazing.
I didn't have a PC in the 90s. I did not play adventure point-and-click games. They hold absolutely no appeal for me because I have no nostalgia, and at this point, I don't see the point. But I know a shit ton of people love them, and I don't fault you if you do.
Ron Gilbert, LucasArts, come on. Day of the Tentacle?
That's great for you. I'm really happy that you enjoy it. Sincerely. I just don't need to play it because those games are not for me. Also coming out this week, Snooker 19 for PS4, Xbox One, and PC.
Now, David, why did they make a game? Why did they make a game about that Jersey Shore chick?
Because they thought it would sell, especially 12 years too late to be relevant to anything. I have no idea how old that show was, but probably be about then. I had to look up what snooker was because I had no fucking idea. Turns out it's billiards if you gave it an anxiety attack. Someone fucked up pool, and now you can too from the comfort of your own home. Snooker 19.
Leave it to the British to make something fun into something just atrocious.
Yeah, dude, they added a bunch of red balls and bullshit. I don't know what's going on. Katana Zero, PS4, Xbox One, Switch, PC, and Mac. Look at these games coming out on every damn thing. Is a neo-noir action platformer. Breakneck action and instant death combat. Slash dash, manipulate time to unravel your past.
This game
really
actually
good
looks
tagline,
awesome.
guys.
Katana Zero looks really good.
No joke, this game looks rad, and of all the things you can play it on, I would play it on Switch, because that's where all my 2D platformers live now. The Padre comes out on PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC. This game is a bitch to look up, because if I look up the Padre game, it gives me baseball scores, and I don't care about that at all. Padre is a retro-stylized 3D horror adventure game that plays like a classic horror game. So think more, I guess, Alone in the Dark than Evil Within. Does that work?
Okay.
Is that a good
Yeah,
version?
sure, whatever, man.
Sounds good to me. God's Trigger for PS4, Xbox One, and PC this game actually looks dope as fuck, I'm not gonna lie. This looks like a 2-player Hotline Miami. It's an indie game, it's violent, gore, over the top down, kill enemies with split-second decisions, dodge bullets. You get all kinds of weapons and abilities, and you murder entire rooms. It's got that same kind of style. The soundtrack sounds pretty good from what I've heard, and most importantly to me, it's got co-op, and that seems cool. How about Our World Is Ended for PS4 and Switch? This is an anime visual novel game. If that's for you, look into it. If not, join me in instead buying Cuphead on Switch. It's beautiful, it's stylish, it's difficult as fuck, and it has one of the best damn soundtracks of any game released in like the last few years.
It is good. It is damn good.
Yep. You can also just look at it for a while. I think Cuphead is flipping gorgeous.
It is.
I can't even talk about it. Came out a few years ago. If you do need an explanation, this is a 2D side-scrolling shooter, more or less, that's difficult as fuck, kind of a bullet hell. And finally, last but not least, we have the Konami Anniversary Collection, Arcade Classics. This is the first of many Anniversary Collections that we knew about from Konami. We talked about this a few weeks back. This is the one that's going to PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC that contains Haunted Castle, Typhoon, Nemesis, Vulcan Venture, Life Force, Thundercross, Scramble, and Twinbee.
So
sweet.
I'm really looking forward to this. For those who don't know, Haunted Castle is essentially the precursor to Castle. It's not the precursor to Castlevania, but it's essentially Castlevania on the arcade. Nemesis is Gradius. Vulcan Venture is Gradius 2. Salamander is Life Force. I don't know if you said Life Force Salamander or not. These are all really fucking good games.
Dude, you skipped Twinbee, and that game's fucking phenomenal.
Twinbee is amazing. These are all really, really good games that I hate that I'm going to give Capcom Konami $20.
And that's the biggest problem for me is I don't want to give Konami any money because they did my boy Kojima dirty.
Yeah. But yeah, Haunted Castle is essentially the upgraded version of Castlevania though for arcades. I don't think it ever came out over here. I could be wrong with that. They could have seen an American release, but I don't think it did. Either way, this is another one of those perfect on the Switch games. Because the Switch is just where all my retro shit's going.
You know what? I almost forgot to tell you guys about a super sneaky release that's probably the biggest deal of all these games. Did you guys know there's a new Forza game that came out this week?
Are you about to drop some mobile shit on me?
It's called Forza Street. It's coming to Android and iOS.
Damn it.
But it's out now. Because here's the funny part. Is technically
I'm just pissed off that you
week,
dare fucking pollute the purity of this show with mobile gaming.
The reason I bring it specifically to this list is because it comes out this week on PC. It is actually not available on mobile at all right now. Legitimately, it's in the Windows Store. It's called Forza Street. I don't know why the fuck they release a free-to-play Forza game on Windows PC when they're planning on releasing it on iOS and Android, but they did, and it came out today.
Okay. Can it be played on a Windows phone?
It can be played on your computer.
Yes, but since they put it in the Microsoft Store, the reason why this might exist is because you might be able to play it on the Windows Store right now. If you have like a Windows phone.
When's the last time they released a Windows phone?
Like I fucking don't know, but that's what I'm getting. I'm just
I don't think
there's
even any Windows phones that could run this game.
I am trying to like understand the logic behind this here.
I don't know. Maybe they wanted to put it on PCs so people could look at it and decide, hey, maybe this game isn't shit.
Yeah, the last Windows phone that I can think of released in like 2011, if not earlier. But I don't know. It's just something that popped in my head. Either way, I'm upset that you fucking put a mobile game on this list. How dare you?
I didn't. I put a Windows PC release game on this list.
You
Thank
put
very
a
much, Steven.
port of a mobile game. Just because it came out first does not mean it's not a port, you son of a bitch. You know what you're doing.
For the fucking record,
You
son of
know
a
what
bitch,
you're doing.
Your new release list that you send me every week frequently contains bullshit mobile ports being released on Switch, which happens on the daily. So shut your mouth. At least this is a franchise that fucking matters. And this has been GamePoints.
with that angry response, that brings us to the end of new releases, and as such brings us to the end of GamePoints episode 170. Thank you all for watching. If you wish to join us live as we bicker back and forth between each other, feel free to tune in every Monday night at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time right here at twitch.tv/GamePoints. If you can't join us live, however, if you go to youtube.com/GamePointsPC, and all of our old shows get popped up there. Regardless of where you're watching us, live or later, feel free to join the conversation by chatting, commenting, all that good stuff. I do go through all those comments and try to respond when I can. If you want to support the show in any way, you can feel free to like, follow, subscribe, throw bits at. If you're sitting on an Amazon or Twitch Prime subscription, please feel free to use that here. But if you don't use it here, use it somewhere. It does go to waste if you don't. If you want to be part of the GamePoints community at whole, feel free to join our Discord server. The link is provided down below. If you want to follow the show on Twitter, you can do so at GamePoints PC. You can follow myself, Steven Brown, at CapitalistPig21, and you can follow this son of a bitch over here, David Smith, at @Palshipe_Satori.
You're welcome.
Thank you all for joining. This has been GamePoints episode 170, and until next week, we're out of here.